we study the new concept of AC voltage applied to an LCR circuit. What is an LCR circuit? A circuit containing resistor, capacitor, inductor which are connected in series across a AC source as shown in the diagram. Now in the previous classes we have studied AC voltage applied across independent components, that is across the resistor, across the inductor, across the capacitor, that we have studied. Across the resistor, the voltage and the current are in phase. The phase angle is 0. Across the inductor, voltage leads the current. Andre voltage munde irtane, current hinde irtane. By 90 degree, that is pi by 2 or 1/4 of a cycle. Across the capacitor, current leads the voltage. Current mundirtane, voltage hindirtane. That we have studied by 90 degree. That we have studied. Now here we are going to study what is the phase relation between the applied voltage and the current flowing through those three components when the three components are connected in series as shown in the diagram. That we call it as LCR circuit. It is in series. In order to study the relation, let me apply an AC voltage whose instantaneous value is given by V is equal to Vm into sine of omega t. It is an applied AC voltage whose peak value is given by Vm okay. Now as and when the voltage is applied, a same current I is flowing through the three components. Why the same current we are taking? Because they are connected in series. Therefore, I is equal to Im into sine of omega t plus phi. We are introducing a phase component here plus phi. Let me call this as equation 2. Now we don't know whether the current is leading or lagging. By how much value it is leading or how much value it is lagging, we don't know. For that purpose, we are taking a phase constant of phi. As and when the current is flowing through the circuits, obviously there is a voltage drop across the individual components. Now what is the voltage drop across the resistor? The voltage drop across the resistor VR is equal to, so it is Im into R. What is the voltage drop across the capacitor? Vc is equal to, it is Im into Xc, where Xc is the capacitive reactance. Similarly, voltage drop across the inductor, it is equal to Im into XL. And also we can write Vc is equal to Q by C and VL is equal to L into di by dt, that we know. Vc is equal to Q by C, VL is equal to, if you take the magnitude, L into d by dt. Now this is according to the second chapter and this is according to the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. Therefore, this is the induced voltage. We know that what is current? It is rate of flow of charges. So based on this one, what is then di by dt can be written as d2q by dt square. So I is dq by dt, therefore di by dt ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ d2q by dt square ಅಂತ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Now with these notations and by applying Kirchhoff loop rule, to that circuit, the algebraic sum of the voltages and variation in IR drops in a circuit is 0, that we have studied. By using that concept, we can write the voltage drop across the resistor, across the inductor, across the capacitor it should be is equal to the applied voltage. Now if I substitute this one, that is I into R plus L into di by dt plus Q by C is equal to V, and substituting these components I will write dq by dt into R plus L into d2q by dt square plus Q by C is equal to the applied voltage, and I will rearrange the terms. L into d2q by dt square plus R into dq by dt plus Q by C is equal to the applied voltage. We are getting a second order differential equation. Now solution to this equation can be obtained in two methods. One is the phasor diagram method, another one is the analytical method. So here we are going to obtain the solution by using phasor diagram method only. Okay. Now let me write I is the current phasor, capital V the voltage applied phasor, VR represents voltage across the resistor phasor, VC represents phasor of voltage phasor across the capacitor, and VL voltage phasor across the inductor. Now we are representing the voltage drop across each component by their corresponding phasors along with the applied voltage and the current. Now this is how we are representing. Now this is the VR voltage phasor across the resistor. Now this is VR and current I, both are written in the same line. Why? We know that whenever AC is flowing through a resistor, there is no phase difference between the current and the voltage. Therefore, they should be parallel to each other. Therefore, this is VR and VI we are representing, and I phasor, current phasor we are representing. Next, take the VC. In the case of capacitor, current is leading, voltage is lagging. So therefore, current is leading, voltage is lagging. Current mundidane, voltage hindidane. Therefore, VC is represented by this phasor. Now the next last component, VL, voltage phasor across the inductor. In the case of inductor, voltage mundirtane, current hindidane. Therefore, voltage is ahead of current by 90 degree, we know that one. Therefore, we are representing VL across this diagram. And also this diagram is written by considering now XC is greater than XL. That is, capacitive reactance is greater than the inductive reactance. Obviously, from this one, so VC, it should be greater than VL. ಇದನ್ನು ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈ ನಾವು ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. In some other textbooks, it can be chosen XL greater than XC, that is VL greater than VC. Then the diagram becomes little bit. Now this magnitude becomes more and this becomes lesser, and the diagram comes here. That is the only difference that we should remember. Now with these notations, we are going to obtain the expression for the peak value of current and the impedance. We are introducing a new concept, impedance, here. Now with this diagram A, with this phasor notation, look here carefully. Now VC and VL, they are along the same line. Therefore, their resultant phasor becomes VC plus VL. Since they are represented by a vector quantity, therefore their sum is represented by VC plus VL. But what about their magnitude? That is VCM minus VLM. Vector notation alli VC plus VL antade bardidivi, hage bariyodu. But magnitude alli ನೀವು ಬರೆಯೋದಾದ್ರೆ it is VCM minus VLM ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. And one more thing, the peak value of voltage across the resistor. Peak value of voltage across the resistor is represented by VRM, that is equal to IM into R. Peak value of voltage across the inductor, VLM, is equal to IM into XL. Peak value of voltage across the capacitor, VCM, is equal to IM into XC. And peak value of the applied voltage, VM, is equal to IM into, we are introducing a new concept, that is Z, that is called as impedance, that we will study later onwards. Okay. Now with these notations, the voltage equation can be written as VL plus VC plus VR is equal to V. Okay. But look at this diagram, second diagram. Now these two resultant is VCM minus VLM. Now it becomes a right angle triangle. Therefore, the applied voltage V is, by using Pythagoras theorem, we can write V square is equal to, applied voltage square is equal to, it is VR square plus VC plus VL whole square. Here we have written plus because we have taken the phasor notation. If you write in terms of magnitude, therefore Vm square, Vm is the magnitude of the applied voltage phasor, magnitude, or the amplitude, it is the amplitude of the applied voltage phasor. Vr square, small letter Vr square, plus here VCM minus VLM whole square. Now this is the resultant. This becomes the resultant of the two. Okay. Now substitute these values here. So Vm square, it is, let it be Vm square as it is. Vr square, it is Im into R whole square plus VCM, here Im into Xc minus Im into XL whole square. Okay. Now simplifying further, Vm square is equal to Im square R square plus here Im is common. I am taking Im square outside and I am getting Xc minus XL whole square. Now in these two terms, once again Im is common. Therefore Vm square is equal to Im square into R square plus Xc minus XL whole square I am getting. Okay. Now I am in need of what is the current. Therefore Im square is equal to Vm square divided by R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Okay. From that one, I am getting current I is equal to, I will take here, therefore from that one, the peak value of the current, maximum current Im is equal to Vm divided by square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Now that is the expression for amplitude of the current, peak value of current flowing through the LCR circuit. Now this Im is equal to Vm divided by some quantity. Now this quantity, it offers opposition by all the three components to the flow of AC. Now this opposition to the flow of current by all these three components is given by the another name impedance, is given by the another name impedance. And it is denoted by the letter Z. The total opposition to the flow of current by all the three components is called impedance. So therefore that expression becomes Im is equal to Vm divided by Z. Therefore then what is Z? It is the impedance, and what is the expression for the impedance is given by Z is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Now this is the expression for the impedance in a series LCR circuit. Z is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus XL. You should remember this formula, Xc minus XL whole square. Now this, up to this stage we have derived with Xc greater than XL. If you take the reverse one, if XL is greater than Xc, XL is greater than Xc, then what will be the expression? Just these two terms will be interchanged. Z is equal to square root of R square plus XL minus Xc whole square. That is the difference, only difference. Okay, should remember this concept, and this is called impedance. Now we have studied the series LCR circuit. In that the expression for current is given by Vm divided by square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Now this denominator term we have called it as impedance. That is given by Z is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. It is called impedance. The total opposition offered by the three components LCR to the flow of AC current is called impedance, and the expression for the impedance is this one. Now with the phasor diagram we can also write this impedance diagram also. Now along this direction we have taken voltage across the resistor, and along this direction we have taken the net voltage across both L and C, and this represents the total voltage, that is applied voltage. With that one we are getting impedance diagram. Now along this one we have taken the resistor. Now along this direction we have taken Xc minus XL. Therefore this diagonal of this rectangle triangle is represents the total impedance diagram. Now this obviously phi is the phase angle between the applied voltage and the current flowing through that LCR circuit. Now from that impedance diagram, now what is tan phi? What is tan phi? It is opposite by the adjacent, that is Xc minus XL divided by R. It represents the phase angle. We can easily work out phase angle in this case. Now look at this expression. When will you get this impedance is minimum? When will you get this impedance is minimum? Whenever Xc is equal to XL, that is capacitive reactance is equal to the inductive reactance. From this expression we will get simply Z is equal to under square root of R square plus this term becomes 0. So therefore I will get Z is equal to R. Now this is obtained only when Xc is equal to XL. Capacitive reactance ಮತ್ತು inductive reactance equal ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ voltage across the capacitor and voltage across the inductor ಎರಡು equal ಆದಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ. Therefore impedance is minimum. Now the impedance, that is opposition, is minimum. Whenever the impedance is minimum, the current is maximum. Therefore, the maximum value of current in this case becomes, it is Vm by R. This is the maximum possible value of current flowing through that LCR circuit. This is possible only when this condition should holds good. That is, Xc should be equal to XL. Inductive reactance should be equal to the capacitive reactance. ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ನೆನಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Now we study some cases. Case 1. If Xc is greater than XL. Xc greater than XL ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಇಂಪಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಇಂದ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Therefore tan phi is equal to, so Xc minus XL divided by R ಇದಾನೆ. Xc greater than XL ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ numerator becomes positive. Xc minus XL is positive. Then phi has positive value. If that is the case, then the circuit behaves as capacitive. Even though we are having the three components, if Xc greater than XL, then by impedance diagram the phase angle tan phi is given by this one. Numerator becomes a positive quantity, therefore angle phi becomes a positive value. So that means the entire circuit behaves as a capacitive circuit. The meaning is very simple. Since it behaves as a capacitive circuit, who is leading, who is lagging? In the case of a capacitor, current is leading, voltage is lagging. Therefore, current leads the voltage. By how much? That is by the phase angle phi. So this is the case. Now here current is leading the voltage. Look at this diagram. Now current is ahead of the applied voltage by how much angles? It is the phi angle, phase angle. How can you calculate this phase angle? By using this simple relation, tan phi is equal to Xc minus XL divided by R. We can work out how much angle the current is leading the circuit voltage. That is case 1. Now let me take the case 2. If XL is greater than Xc, if that is the case, then what happens this for this tan phi value? So therefore tan phi is Xc minus XL divided by R. Therefore phi is a negative value. The phase angle becomes a negative value. If that is the case, then that circuit behaves as inductive. That circuit behaves as an inductive circuit. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ inductive circuit ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ? Voltage is leading and current is lagging. Obviously diagram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಅದೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಫ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ, ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಫೇಸಾರು, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಫೇಸಾರು ಈಚೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಬರಬೇಕು ಬೈ ಅನ್ ಆಂಗಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಫೈ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗ? ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ then the circuit becomes inductive. Therefore voltage leads the current by an angle of phi, that is phase angle phi. And third case antu obviously we have studied here, case 3. Even case 3 ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ. That is very important one that we will study later onwards in detail. We will get a maximum amount of current, and power dissipation is also maximum in the third case also. Now that is the impedance diagram. Now we will study the phasor diagram as well as graph of voltage and current versus omega t as shown in this diagram. Now here V represents the voltage phasor, that is applied voltage. I represents the current, common current or same current flowing through the circuit. Since we have chosen Xc greater than XL, the circuit becomes capacitive, therefore current has to lead. Therefore we are writing the current ahead of voltage by a phase angle phi. The corresponding wave pattern is as shown in the figure. Now voltage is starting from 0, reaches to maximum at 90 degree, pi by 2, and reaches to 0 at pi, and reaches its negative maximum value at 3 pi by 2, and reaches 0. That is voltage. Since current is leading, initially the current is at a positive value and reaches a maximum peak, maximum value at this position. Now if you take the difference of these two, that represents the phase angle phi. If you take the difference of peak value of voltage and the peak value of the current, that gives the phase. Then the wave pattern of current is as shown in the diagram. So this is a very important question. Derive an expression for current in the case of a series LCR circuit whenever AC is applied, and hence obtain the expression for impedance of the circuit. Now this one, this expression you have to derive. From that one we have to obtain what is Z. Z is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Now this derivation is very important for 5 marks. Since we are having so many diagrams for this 5 marks question, which diagram we have to write for the examination point of view? The examination point of view, we have to write only the phasor diagram that we have written in the previous A and B. Voltage phasor. That phasor diagram only is the essential. Now we will study the new concept of resonance. Now in the case of an LCR circuit, we come across this phenomenon called resonance. Now this resonance phenomenon is observed in all common systems which are vibrating with their natural frequencies. If a system has its own natural frequency, and if it starts to vibrate with that natural frequency, then the amplitude of vibration or the oscillation, the amplitude of the oscillations becomes maximum. If the driven frequency equals that natural frequency, driven means we have a pendulum here, that pendulum bob is oscillating. After some time, its amplitude goes on decreases and becomes 0. The oscillation stops. That we call it as damped oscillation, that we have studied in first PUC. Why we are observing the damped oscillation? Because of the presence of air medium which opposes the oscillation. Now in order to avoid this damping, what has to be done? Now one has to push this one with an external force. Clear? A pendulum which is oscillating, its oscillation dies out after some time. In order to have a continuous oscillation, we have to push this pendulum with a certain force. Therefore, this oscillation is called driven oscillation or forced oscillation, that we have studied. Driven or forced oscillation, because in order to maintain a steady oscillation, we are applying an external force. If the frequency of the external force and matches with the natural frequency of the pendulum, then that pendulum oscillates with the maximum amplitude, and that is phenomenon we call it as resonance. If the driven force matches or nearly equals to the natural frequency of the system, then we get a maximum amplitude of oscillation, and that phenomenon we call it as resonance. One more best example is a child swinging in a swing in a park. Now initially child starts to pull and push that swing. It's going to make oscillations, to and fro motions. As and when the pull and push by the child, its frequency of push and pull matches with the natural frequency of the swing, then obviously that child oscillates with maximum amplitude. At that particular frequency at which the oscillation is maximum, that particular frequency is called natural frequency, and the phenomenon is called resonance. In the same way, in an LCR circuit also, we are going to observe resonance phenomena. Before going to LCR circuit, we have studied the variation of inductive reactance with respect to frequency and capacitive reactance with respect to the frequency. In the case of an inductor, the inductive reactance XL is given by omega into L, or it is given by 2 pi nu into L. Omega, angular frequency, nu, it is the frequency. So therefore XL is directly proportional to the frequency. As the frequency of oscillation increases, inductive reactance also increases, and that is shown by the graph that we have studied in the previous classes. We have a frequency nu or omega. Now here we are having inductive reactance. Since it is linearly depending on the frequency, therefore it goes on increases linearly. Now in the case of a capacitor also, in the case of a capacitor, we have Xc is equal to 1 upon omega c. What is Xc? Capacitive reactance. Now that is equal to 1 by 2 pi nu into c. So therefore here the capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency. Therefore we have got a curve like this, that also we have studied, omega, and this one is Xc. So decreasing as frequency increases, the capacitive reactance, it goes on decreasing. Now remember these two curves that will be used for the other. Now we are going to study the resonance. Now we have an LCR circuit which contains the inductor, capacitor and resistor. In the case of resistor, resistance is independent of frequency. In the case of inductor, inductive reactance is directly depends on frequency. In the case of a capacitor, capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency. Now we have an expression for impedance in an LCR circuit, that we know the impedance is equal to square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square, that we have studied. Now this equation is obtained by considering Xc greater than XL. That is, capacitive reactance is greater than the inductive reactance. And also we have obtained the expression for current amplitude. The current Im is equal to, it is Vm by Z. Now I have to choose a particular frequency at which the current is maximum. Now look at this in this expression. We have an impedance expression. Since it is in the denominator, the current should be maximum only when the impedance should be minimum. The opposition offered by the LCR circuit should be minimum. If that is the case, then we get a maximum current. The impedance should be minimum only when this term vanishes. That is, Xc should be is equal to XL. If Xc is equal to XL, then obviously what happens? Z. Now Z is equal to square root of R square plus 0. Or Z is equal to R. This is minimum. The minimum value of impedance is obtained only when Xc should be is equal to XL. That means the inductive reactance should be is equal to the capacitive reactance. If that is the case, then impedance is minimum and hence the maximum current is flowing. We will write like that. Im maximum should be is equal to Vm by R. Therefore, at a particular frequency of oscillation, the inductive reactance equals the capacitive reactance. At that particular frequency, impedance becomes minimum, current becomes maximum, and that frequency is called as resonance frequency. Or in other words, resonance is a phenomenon at which the impedance of the LCR circuit is minimum and the current should be the maximum. The phenomenon at which the impedance of the LCR circuit is minimum and the current should be maximum is called as resonance. And that particular frequency is also called as resonance frequency. Now we are going to derive the expression for resonance frequency. Okay, we will work out. Now, what is the condition for resonance? They may ask for 1 mark. What is the condition for resonance in an LCR circuit? The condition for resonance in LCR circuit is the inductive reactance should be is equal to the capacitive reactance. We know that it is for a particular frequency. Therefore, omega naught is a particular angular frequency at which inductive reactance is equal to capacitive reactance. That is L is equal to 1 upon omega naught into C. We have to calculate what is the expression for omega naught. Therefore, omega naught square is equal to 1 upon LC, or omega naught is equal to 1 by root LC. It is the particular angular frequency at which inductive reactance equals the capacitive reactance, and that frequency is called as resonance frequency. At that position, at that situation, the current should be maximum. The current in the circuit is maximum and the power dissipation is also maximum. This frequency is called as resonance frequency. In terms of linear frequency, we can write this one as omega naught is equal to 2 pi nu naught 2 pi nu naught, that is equal to 1 upon root LC, or nu naught is equal to, that is linear frequency, is equal to 1 by 2 pi root of LC. Now that is the expression for resonance frequency. Expression for resonance frequency. It is inversely proportional to square root of the inductance and inversely proportional to square root of the capacitance. Now graphically we can write, just we have studied, in the case of an inductor, that is XL, it linearly increasing. In the case of a capacitor, it is exponentially decreasing. Okay. If you combine the two curves, look here, XC, XL, both are on that side. Now this is for XL. As frequency increases, inductive reactance also increases. At the same time, as frequency increases, the capacitive reactance, it goes on decreases. At lower frequency, inductive reactance is lesser, capacitive reactance is more. As frequency goes on increases, inductive reactance goes on increases, the capacitive reactance goes on decreases. There is a particular frequency, let me call it as omega naught. At that particular frequency, the inductive reactance and is equal to the capacitive reactance. At this situation, we are getting a maximum value of current. Impedance becomes minimum, current becomes maximum. At what frequency we are getting a maximum current, and that phenomenon is called as resonance, and that particular frequency we call it as resonant frequency. So omega naught is the angular resonant frequency, nu naught is the resonant frequency. How we have derived? At this particular frequency, these two are equal. Based on that one, we are obtaining the expression for resonance. And the expression and the graph of current versus frequency, it is as shown here. Now this is, if I take an IM current, this is the resonance frequency. This is the frequency along the x-axis and current along the y-axis. Initially, the impedance is at lower frequency, impedance is higher value. As frequency goes on increases, this impedance value goes on decreases and reaches a minimum value impedance at this point. And further increase in frequency increases the impedance. Since impedance is inversely proportional to the current, or current is inversely proportional to the impedance, the current varies in the opposite direction. So initially impedance is higher, therefore current is lower. As frequency goes on increases, the impedance goes on decreases, but the current goes on increases. At a particular frequency value, now this one value, at this particular frequency, impedance becomes minimum, current becomes maximum. And above that particular frequency, once again, impedance goes on increases, obviously current goes on decreases. This is one type of curve. Okay. For another value of LCR values, for different R values, we are getting one more curve here. Okay. Now this is for R1 if I take, and this is for R2. Now second curve is obtained with R2 greater than R1. If resistance value is smaller, you will get a maximum current. If resistance value is larger, you will get a little bit smaller value of maximum current. Now this particular frequency at which the current in the two graphs is maximum is called resonance frequency, and the expression for resonance frequency is as shown in that as derived like that. Now, what is the use of this resonance circuit? Now, we are using this resonance circuit as a tuning circuit. While tuning a radio signal, we are varying the capacitor value, the distance between the two parallel plates we are going to vary. As and when a particular station is picked up, as the frequency of the LCR circuit matches with particular frequency of a radio station, now that signal is received by the radio and we can hear that voice. If you further vary that one, the frequency, resonant frequency goes on changing, then it catches that particular radio station. The same thing happens while tuning TV channels. We are changing the channels means we are tuning the resonant circuit. We are varying the value of the capacitor so that we are getting a different resonant frequency. Of that particular resonant frequency channel, it will be received and it can be seen through the TV. One important thing you should remember, while getting this resonance phenomena, we require both L and C component. If a circuit contains both the inductor as well as the capacitor components, then in that circuit we can observe this resonance phenomena. If any circuit has an inductor and resistor, can you observe the resonance phenomena? No, we cannot observe this resonance phenomena. Why? Very simple. The inductive reactance is depending on the frequency, but resistance is not depending on frequency. It is independent of frequency. Now, if any circuit is having a capacitor and a resistor, can you observe the resonance phenomena? Here also we cannot observe the resonance phenomena because capacitive reactance is inversely proportional to the frequency. It has a frequency dependence. Once again, this resistor, it is frequency independent. Therefore, we observe the resonance phenomena in a circuit which contains both L and C, inductor as well as the capacitor, because both depending on the frequency as shown by these curves. Now we will study the new concept, sharpness of resonance. Now we have studied resonance phenomena. Now in that resonance phenomena, we have obtained a graph, that is omega versus the current. So initially the current is minimum. As frequency goes on increases, the current increases and reaches a maximum value at a particular frequency. Now that particular frequency we have called it as resonant frequency. Now above the resonance frequency, the current goes on decreasing and we obtained a curve like this. Okay. Now this is the particular frequency at which the current is maximum. Now that particular frequency we called it as resonant frequency. Okay. And we know that the expression for current in the case of an LCR circuit is given by Im is equal to Vm divided by Z, or Im is equal to Vm divided by square root of R square plus Xc minus XL whole square. Or we can have Im is equal to Vm divided by square root of R square plus Xc, it is 1 upon omega c, minus XL, it is omega L, that we know, whole square, this expression. Now current is maximum only when these two terms are equal and opposite and hence get cancels. Therefore, I max we have obtained Im maximum is equal to Vm by R. This is obtained only when that Xc should be is equal to XL. That is the condition of resonance. The capacitive reactance should be is equal to the inductive reactance. Now this is that frequency. Now this omega naught is the frequency at which the current is maximum. Now this is what we are having Im max. This is the frequency. Below the resonance frequency, the current goes on decreasing. Above the resonance frequency, the current goes on once again decreasing. Now we will choose two frequencies on either side of resonance. Now this is the resonance frequency. Now below that one and above that one, we are considering two frequencies. Now this frequency, which is a higher frequency, let me call it as omega 1. The lower frequency, let me call it as omega 2. Okay. Now we are choosing two frequencies, omega 1, which is above the resonance frequency by a value delta omega. And we are choosing one more frequency, that is omega 2, which is below the resonance frequency by a value delta omega. Now we are choosing these two frequencies such that the current for these two frequencies becomes Im by root 2, Im max by root 2. Maximum value of current ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಆ ಕರೆಂಟ್ 1 by root 2 times ಗೆ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಂಟ್ 1 by root 2 times ಗೆ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? 1 by root 2 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ 0.707. The frequency on either side of the resonant frequency at which the current falls to 0.70 times or 1 by root 2 times its maximum value. At that current, we are choosing these two frequencies. Now at these two frequencies, if you work out the power becomes half of its maximum value. The power dissipation in the circuit becomes half of its maximum value. The maximum power is dissipated at resonance frequency. Now we are choosing two more frequencies on either side of the resonance frequency at which the current reduces to 0.707 of its maximum value and the power dissipation becomes half of its maximum value. Then these two frequencies are called half power frequencies. The frequencies on either side of the resonant frequency at which power dissipation in the circuit is half of its maximum value, and these frequencies are called as half power frequencies. Now within these variation of current, our ear cannot be able to observe that variation. Therefore we are taking this range of frequency. We are choosing omega 1 to omega 2 range of frequencies. If there is a variation in frequency, obviously there is a variation in current as well as power dissipation. Now that cannot be absorbed by the human being. Therefore we are choosing only this range of frequency. Now below this frequency or above this omega 1, the current further reduces. That can be observable by the human being. If it is an audio, that can be heard. If it is a video, that can be viewed. If the power dissipation is less than half of its maximum value. So within that half to maximum power dissipation, there is no observation of variation in power dissipation. Therefore, we are choosing that range of frequency omega 1 and omega 2, and that range in frequency we call it as bandwidth. Bandwidth. So therefore, the bandwidth here is given by omega 1 minus omega 2. That is the range of frequency within which the power dissipation is half of its maximum value is called bandwidth. And it is given by omega 1 minus omega 2. Now omega 1 is omega naught plus delta omega, and omega 2 is minus of omega naught minus delta omega within the bracket. So if you simplify this one, omega naught plus delta omega minus omega naught minus of minus plus delta omega. Therefore, plus omega naught minus omega naught cancels. Therefore, omega 1 minus omega 2 is equal to 2 into delta omega, and this is called bandwidth. The range of frequencies for which the power dissipation is half of its maximum value is called as bandwidth. Now this is the bandwidth. Now look here, if the bandwidth is smaller and smaller, the sharpness becomes larger and larger. Now let me define the new concept, that is sharpness of resonance. Now omega naught, it is RF, resonance frequency, not radio, it is resonance frequency. 2 delta omega, bandwidth. If you take the ratio of the two, that is omega naught divided by the bandwidth, is called sharpness of resonance. Therefore, sharpness of resonance is the ratio of resonance frequency to the bandwidth. The ratio of resonance frequency to the bandwidth is called sharpness of resonance. It is also called as quality factor. Sharpness of resonance, or it is also called as the quality factor or Q factor. Therefore, Q factor of an LCR circuit is omega naught 2 divided by 2 delta omega. Ratio of resonance frequency to the bandwidth, it is also called as the quality factor. With some derivations, it can be shown that delta omega is equal to R by 2L. It can be shown that delta omega is equal to R by 2L. So substituting here, we will get Q is equal to omega naught by 2 into, it is R by 2L. Therefore, omega naught L by R, omega naught L by R is the expression for quality factor. Therefore, quality factor directly depends on the inductance value, but it inversely depends on the resistance value. It can also be shown that in terms of capacitor and the resistor, the quality factor is given by 1 upon omega naught C into R. Now in this case, the quality factor is inversely proportional to the capacitor as well as the resistor. Now here in this case, let me write one more diagram. Now if I have one more diagram like this, one more graph like this, let me call this as the first graph and this one is the second graph. Now first graph is having more sharpness because it has a smaller bandwidth, but the second graph it has a lesser sharpness because the bandwidth becomes more here. For the second graph, bandwidth, that is range of frequency increase ಆಗ್ತದೆ, bandwidth ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಯಾವಾಗ bandwidth ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೋ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ bandwidth ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೋ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ನೆಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Then what is the use of this sharpness or the quality factor? If an LCR circuit has a more sharpness, if you tune a radio or a TV signal, only one particular channel is received at a particular frequency. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ sharpness ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, bandwidth ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿಯನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಯುರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಇಫ್ ದ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೈ, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೈ. ಅದೇ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಪ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಿಡ್ತ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವಿಡ್ತ್ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟ್ಯೂನಿಂಗ್ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯೂಟ್ it cannot receive a particular frequency. It receives more than one frequency signals. One particular station ಅನ್ನು ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಬದಲಾಗಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅದರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಅದು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಭದ್ರಾವತಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಭದ್ರಾವತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸೈಮಲ್ಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಧಾರವಾಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಆಕಾಶವಾಣಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋ ಮೂರು ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬರುವಂತ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಇಫ್ the sharpness is very low. Therefore, we have to choose an LCR circuit whose sharpness is very high, bandwidth is very low. Low bandwidth ಇರುವಂತಹ LCR circuit ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು choose ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ.